Tesla just went silent, and Mazda is the reason. They just dropped an engine update that rewrote the rules of the EV race, and most people, including Elon Musk, didn't even notice. And once you see what's really going on, you won't look at Tesla and Mazda the same anymore. Picture this. The entire electric vehicle industry, the batteries, the charging networks, the years of combustion as dead headlines, suddenly looking outdated overnight. Not because of a new battery breakthrough, because of an engine, a real spinning, fuel-burning engine. A few days ago, Mazda quietly dropped an update that sent a clear signal through the auto industry, and suddenly, Tesla has gone silent in response. No statement, no tweet, nothing. So is this really the moment the EV era ends? The deeper we go, the stranger this story gets. To understand why Mazda's signal matters, we need to go back almost 60 years to a piece of engineering almost everyone gave up on: the rotary engine. Most car companies tried it once, found it too complicated, too thirsty, too unreliable, and quietly walked away. Mazda never did. While Ford, GM, and basically every European brand abandoned rotary technology in the 1970s, Mazda kept a small team working on it in the background. Decade after decade, almost like a secret research division nobody outside the company really understood. For years, that felt like stubbornness. The rotary engine became a punchline. Enthusiasts loved it, but mainstream buyers saw it as a niche oddity, something you'd find in an old RX-7 with a check engine light permanently glued to the dashboard. Then came the RX-8, then nothing. Mazda discontinued the rotary in production cars, and most people assumed that was the end of the story. It wasn't. Because while Tesla was busy becoming the most famous car company on the planet, Mazda's engineers were working on something most of the industry forgot was even possible: a rotary engine designed not to replace electric motors, but to make them irrelevant as the bottleneck. Here's where it gets interesting. The new rotary update Mazda just revealed is not meant to power the wheels directly. It's a generator. A tiny, lightweight, incredibly efficient rotary engine spinning at high RPM, doing one job and one job only: generating electricity to feed an electric motor. No transmission, no gearbox, no turbo lag. Just constant, smooth electrical output feeding the drivetrain exactly when it needs it. Why does that matter so much? Because one of the biggest problems with electric vehicles has never actually been the motor. It's been the battery. Weight, cost, charging time, range anxiety, all of it traces back to the battery. Mazda's new rotary generator doesn't try to fix the battery. It tries to make a smaller battery good enough. Picture this: a compact rotary engine, smaller than a laptop, spinning quietly in the background, sipping fuel at a fraction of what a normal engine would use, constantly topping up a battery that's maybe a third the size of what's in a typical EV. The car drives like an EV. Instant torque, silent acceleration, smooth power delivery. But it never needs a 30-minute charging stop because the rotary engine just keeps feeding it. And here's the part that should make every EV executive nervous. Mazda says this new generator is small enough, light enough, and clean-burning enough to run on multiple fuel types, including hydrogen. Let that sink in for a second. A range-extending generator that can run on regular fuel today and hydrogen tomorrow without a redesign. That's not a stopgap. That's a bridge to wherever the energy industry actually ends up going, without betting everything on one outcome. So why has Tesla gone quiet? Well, let's be fair, Tesla hasn't officially confirmed it's shutting down anything. That part of the headline is doing a lot of work. But industry analysts have pointed out something real. Tesla's entire value proposition has been built on one core idea: that batteries would keep getting cheaper, energy density would keep improving, and charging infrastructure would keep expanding until range anxiety simply disappeared. Mazda's update doesn't argue with that roadmap. It just sidesteps it entirely. If a rotary generator can deliver EV-like driving with a battery a third the size, at a fraction of the cost, using infrastructure that already exists, that's not a small dent. That's a different bet on the future entirely. And for a company like Tesla, whose stock price has always been tied to the story of inevitable EV dominance, a credible alternative path is not something you want showing up in headlines. But before we get carried away, let's slow down. Because just like with every "this changes everything" story in the auto world, there are some serious questions Mazda still has to answer. First, emissions regulations. Even a small, efficient combustion engine is still a combustion engine. Many countries and states have aggressive timelines for phasing out anything that burns fuel, full stop, regardless of how efficient it is. If regulators don't carve out an exception for range-extending generators, this entire approach could be legislated out of existence before it even reaches showrooms. Second, manufacturing scale. Mazda is a relatively small automaker compared to giants like Toyota, Volkswagen, or Tesla. Even if this technology is brilliant, can Mazda actually produce it at the volume needed to make a dent in a global market dominated by much larger players? Third, public perception. For over a decade, the entire car industry has been telling people that combustion is the past and batteries are the future. Convincing consumers that a hybrid rotary system is actually progress, not a step backward, is a marketing challenge all on its own. And fourth, Mazda's track record. The rotary engine has a long history of reliability headaches. Even if this new generator design solves the old problems on paper, real-world durability over hundreds of thousands of miles is something that can only be proven over time, not in a press release. So where does this leave the rest of the industry? Toyota, which has quietly bet big on hybrids for decades while everyone called them behind the curve, suddenly looks like it might have been right the whole time. Honda has its own range extender patent sitting in the background. Nissan already tried something similar with its e-Power system years ago, just without the rotary twist. If Mazda's version actually works as described, expect to see borrowed inspiration from more than one of these companies within a couple of years. As for the EV-only camps, Tesla, Rivian, Lucid, this puts them in an awkward spot. Their entire identity is built around the idea that the battery-only approach is the destination, not a phase. If a credible hybrid alternative starts winning over mainstream buyers who care more about convenience than ideology, that's a threat that can't be solved with a software update. But here's the thing worth remembering. We've seen this movie before. Betamax was better, VHS won. The best technology doesn't automatically win the market. Tesla still has the brand, the charging network, and a decade-long head start in software and self-driving. Mazda has a clever engine and a lot of unanswered questions. So is this really the end of the EV era? Almost certainly not. But is it a sign that the next chapter of the EV story might not look anything like the last one? That part might actually be true. What do you think? Is Mazda onto something real here? Or is this just another game-changer headline that quietly disappears in 6 months? Let us know what you think in the comments below.